Yep.
Very good. We both. Oopsies. Hi. 50. Hey, Christy,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm fine.
Well,
Thanks. I guess I'm fine.
Guess you're fine. What's going on?
I'm just stressed out.
Mm-hmm.
I've got all sorts of worries to tell you about.
Okay, so you're stressed out and got some worries, so,
Yeah, I'm trying to
would you like
figure
to
out where to
start?
start. There are just too many.
the middle. Start in the middle.
Okay, well, the middle is, I took my son off to school this morning, even though he was complaining about his tummy hurting and his
Mhm.
teeth still hurting because he had teeth out last week.
Mm-hmm.
The dentist thought he could, just use a little numbing gel and get these things out. And with most kids, that works fine, but turns out Sam's got a sensitive mouth, and it didn't work so well. He was in pain. He
So
was
it's just a numbing gel.
distressed, and,
Not even the shot, not the Novocaine
And
shot.
eventually he put the Novocaine in,
Uh-huh.
and it was the first Novocaine shot my son had ever had, and it freaked him out. It hurts just to get the thing.
Yeah, because the syringe is about this big.
Yeah, it feels that way. And, so, he got 3 of the 4 teeth out, but then couldn't give him any more Novocaine. And my son was all sad about being not as brave as he wanted to be. He meant to be all brave, but then he was in pain and crying. And just, of course, I was surprised that he felt bad about that. Usually he doesn't worry about crying, but he's 14, so I guess he's getting more sensitive about that sort of thing, about looking grown up, or brave. But he expected his teeth to feel fine by now.
Right.
Which was probably unrealistic, but they still hurt him, so he's all distressed about it and anxious. And he tends to be a little hypochondriac anyway.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's just very sensitive to pain. He's sensitive in general.
Right.
And I'm always walking this fine line between, trying to be understanding of that and not try to make him into some kid he's not.
Right.
And
What do you mean, not make him into some kid that he's not?
not try to, force him to be some vigorous, tough guy who's gonna go play football.
Right, right. So I take it he doesn't play football?
No, he doesn't. No, unfortunately, he doesn't play anything right now. He'll play tennis if I make him, or he'll go for a walk with me, but he mostly likes to play video games. So
Oh, I see.
that's
So
another thing I'm looking at.
So you'd prefer him to be more physical right now and get
Yeah,
outdoors?
I'm sure it
and-
would be healthier for him, yeah. I mean, I didn't play a lot of sports as a kid, but at least I spent a lot of time outside, as
Right.
much time as I could, really. Riding bikes or riding horses when I could or whatever, so.
Because back then we didn't have all these video games, did
That's
we?
right.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
might have gotten addicted, but, we didn't have the option, so. Anyway, so I sent him off to school with his teeth hurting and his tummy hurting, and I couldn't decide whether that made me a good mom or a bad mom, really. And that's often the case. I can't decide whether, I'm doing the right thing. And I try to remember the good advice I got when he was a baby.
Which is?
A friend's mom said, well, just take the long view. Remember, take the long view.
Take the long view.
This day might look tricky, it might look, like you did everything wrong, but in the end, we'll probably be fine. And that's true of all the sleep issues and feeding issues and all of that he had when he was a baby. He grew out of all those.
Right, right.
There doesn't seem to have been any lasting damage,
So that was good advice then, and it's good advice now?
I guess. Yes, but it doesn't feel that way in the moment sometimes.
So today you feel like bad mom? for bringing them to school.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think that was the right thing to do?
Yeah, I really do, because you know, it's the last week of the trimester and he kind of needs to be there if he's not running a fever. And who knows, he might be running a fever 3 weeks from now and have to stay home, so.
So doesn't that make you a good mom? Doing what's the tough choice?
Oh, I hope so. I'll try to believe that.
There you go, yeah.
And then there's just so much other stuff going on. There's work deadlines that I'm behind on, and school deadlines that I'm worried about. I just feel like I'm not getting any of it done as efficiently as I should, and
I hear you saying that you should be getting this done efficiently, but you're not. Okay.
I guess it will get done. It usually does, but it's not always pretty.
So you have work and you have school going on. Tell me more about that. That sounds pretty heavy.
Well, yeah, it is. I wish I could take less work, but, you know, I've already gotten behind on the bills, and there's debt, and there's school loans, and so money's starting to be a concern.
It's a real concern. That's
It
a big
is,
one.
yeah, and it's, for me, there's a lot of shame involved because my mom is so particular about these things. And I guess she's always in my head. It's like, I think, if my mom knew about any of this, any of my debts, she'd just be freaked out. She was so critical and so judgmental, and you know, my brother's a doctor and he's doing just fine, so she
Busy?
will compare. Yeah. Well, at least financially, sure. It's not that he doesn't have trouble. He's got trouble with his kids sometimes, but financially he's fine, and that seems to be what matters the most to her sometimes.
Okay, I see.
And, you know, I feel like there's always this comparison anyway, and he's pretty much always going to win it, except when we talk about politics, because she and I are on the same page.
Oh, I see, I got you.
He's the Republican doctor, you know.
Aha. So your relationship with your mother, you're feeling bad because if she knew the struggles that you're going through, because a mid-career change is not cheap, and it's not easy.
No, I guess it's not. And, but she doesn't really understand that. I guess she's sort of supportive of the shift. I mean, she felt 10 years ago, yeah, you should get out of what you're doing and into something else. But for her, the answer is always teaching. Just get a teaching job. It worked for me.
Yeah.
It'll work for you.
Did she like teaching?
The last 10 years of her life, she did, yeah. Because she was in a good position and felt like she had really figured out how to do it. And she was in a good school. So, yeah.
And what happens when you think about teaching, when your mom says that? What do you say to her?
What I've always thought is, that's the last thing I want to do.
Right.
Yeah. But it's hard to sort out whether it's the last thing I want to do simply because she says it and because that's what she did, or whether it's really something I wouldn't like. A bit of both, I'm sure, but but in any case, I'd like to just be able to get her out of my head, period. It's my life, and
Right.
you know, I'm not asking her for help. So, what should it matter? What should it think?
But it does matter. Yeah.
Yeah. And the whole career change thing is causing causing anxiety too, because
Mhm.
what if it doesn't work out?
Mhm.
I mean, I might just be stuck with these debts for nothing, because my friend Stephanie, who was in publishing, switched into nursing a year or so ago, and she hates it. She's just miserable.
That's pretty scary.
She says it's the worst thing she could have done. She's actually considered going back to publishing. It might be better now, but she started off working at Duke Hospital, and it was just miserable. 12-hour night shifts and swapping from days to nights, from week to week, and
So you have a friend that was in your same area, do a career shift, and is now miserable. That's, yeah,
yeah,
distressing.
yeah, it is.
But you're not going into nursing, are you?
No, no, I try to tell myself that's different. There are a lot of differences.
Well, let's talk about those differences. What motivated you to do this midlife?
Oh, well, there were a lot of things. I liked what I was doing still in publishing, to some extent, but I was starting to feel some burnout, and that got worse when I was working at a place that was more like, it was less like a university press and more like a trade press, really. And they've gone the way of most corporations in America that say you have to do more with less. You have to have half the number of people in this department and do twice the work that you used to do, twice as fast, because we want these schedules shorter, shorter, shorter. And quality just went out the window. They didn't care about the final product really at all, unless an author made us think about it. And then it was your fault, of course. But
Wow.
and they didn't, the people at the top really didn't seem to have a clue about it anymore. Eventually, the person in charge of our department had no experience in book publishing. She had only worked at a cereal factory. But their attitude was, a production line is a production line, so it shouldn't matter. Of course it did matter.
Right, so this was very distressing.
Yeah, there were a lot of things she didn't understand. She couldn't be made to understand them.
Yeah, because this is publishing, right?
Yeah. And, yeah, it was maddening. Some of my colleagues there could deal with it better, but
Right. So do you think if none of this, if publishing hadn't gotten into this being a business and all about the money and mass production, that you would have been happy staying in publishing, or?
maybe to some extent, but I think I was also feeling that I'd gone as far as I really wanted to go in publishing. I had thought it might be a good lifelong career, but unless I wanted to manage people or shift into acquisitions somehow, that wasn't going to happen. I had just reached the plateau, and I was going to stay on this plateau for years and years, and get more and more bored with it. And I also wanted something more meaningful than just worrying about punctuation.
I gotcha. So pretty much it wasn't just that there was a change going on in the industry. Had it not changed, you still would have been looking for something else.
There's a good chance, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's positive.
Yeah. I guess so.
And so what made you decide to go into the field that you're entering, and what's the job outlook in this new field? Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, they say it's good. They say there's going to be a greater need for counselors to work with veterans and the aging population, baby boomers getting older and all of that. But I guess I look at those articles sometimes and think, yeah, they said they were going to need a lot of college professors in the early 90s too, and that did not happen.
Oh, it did not?
No, it did not.
Okay.
So these forecasts are just sometimes wrong.
That has to be a little skeptical, huh?
Yeah. And it seems, a couple of people have told me they're fewer internships available now than there used to be.
Are these credible people or?
Yeah.
Okay. And what has your experience been?
It's been hard for me to
Mhm.
find one or to get interviews, so that's another source of anxiety, feeling that I haven't done my homework or
Right, right.
not prepared or something. So,
So tell me what's going on. So you're at the point in your program where internship is
Mhm.
important?
it's
Maybe.
necessary. I won't be able to proceed without it.
Uh-huh.
So of course I freak out and think, what if I just can't get one? What if I just have done this coursework for no reason? What if I
Right.
never get one?
Mm-hmm. What if you do never get one? So what are you doing to get one? Let's talk about that. How are you being proactive here?
Well, I'm sending out lots of inquiry letters. I do have one interview lined up at a place that would be good. So
Oh, very good.
fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But,
So you're not just sitting around worrying about it, you're
No.
out there doing something.
yeah.
That's excellent.
But part of me thinks, I just tend to beat myself up about it and say, I should have started volunteering at Interact 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that I've had the time to do that,
Mhm.
but if I had, that maybe it would be easier. Maybe it'd be more competitive.
So you didn't have the time, so beating yourself up, any good come from that?
No, not really. There's no
Okay.
change in it in any case. And I suppose I could flip that around and say, if an internship doesn't work out for some reason now, that's the path I could take.
Right.
Volunteer my way into some sort of internship. So
Mm-hmm.
I assume that eventually, somewhere, I could do that.
Yes, yes. Have you talked to any of the faculty at your school?
No, not yet.
Mm-hmm.
That's the next line of attack, I guess.
Because typically they have connections, they can put in good words.
Yeah. Maybe I'll consider that.
So we've been talking about, you're being stressed about parenting,
Mhm.
you started talking about your son, and it sounds like I'm hearing this theme of you're being a little hard on yourself.
Yeah, I guess that is a pattern.
Uh-huh. What are you doing to be nice to yourself? Any self-care, any ways to manage your stress?
Does drinking count?
Well, it depends, how much? Do we need to talk about that? Because we can switch gears.
Oh, it's probably fine.
Okay, very good.
A glass or two of wine at night.
Okay,
That's all.
all right.
But I don't exercise enough. I know that exercise helps, but sometimes I get to a certain point and I feel too busy to exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And, it can be just a downward spiral from there, of just fretting.
Mm-hmm. I can understand that.
So,
So you're aware that you need to do something to relax, but there's just no time with
yeah.
work and school and parenting. That's pretty
It's
busy.
tough. One good thing is that my husband, who's usually away during the school semester, is here this semester. He's on leave, so
Oh, very good. That's
yeah,
a support.
yeah, he's a good source of support, and he helps me relax because we will watch TV or a movie together at night, and I won't let myself do that otherwise, and I'll just be a little workaholic.
Yeah.
But that's very helpful.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah.
You mentioned also earlier that you'd like to see your son be a little more physically active. Is there any possibility that you and your son can do something together that's outdoors and?
That's a good idea.
That's exercise.
I do drag him out for a walk whenever the weather's good.
Mhm.
It's so rainy
Yeah.
recently, or cold, or snowy, or whatever, that we
Yeah.
haven't gotten to do that as much as I'd like.
Mhm.
Tennis is starting soon, so I hope I can persuade him to do that again.
Right, right.
Or if he's not going to be on the team, at least he can play tennis with me.
Did he like tennis?
I think he did. He was not that good at it, and a lot of the other kids had had lessons for years, and they were good at it. so he wasn't as keen on it as he could have been, but.
What about racquetball? That's indoors.
That's
You
a
hit the
good
ball, it
idea.
comes back to you eventually. It's my kind of sport.
Yeah, we don't have a place to play around here.
Oh,
so,
okay. That would be a problem.
Yeah.
So that's something to brainstorm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But it is a good idea though, combining those things. Trying to find a way to do that.
And, you know, it sounds like to me also that you're a great mom because you're worried about your son's emotional development. So, as you were saying,
I'm involved.
you're not uninvolved, you're very involved.
Yeah. I just, I guess I'm going to criticize myself for it no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Where I'm being, the over-concerned mother or the under-concerned mother.
Which is fine if you're right in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you were talking about your mom being in your head a little bit.
Mhm.
Is that a balance that you can manage, or, because financial problems is just part of adulthood, I mean,
Yeah. I guess for most of us it is.
even doctors.
I guess. Yeah, she's managed just fine because she was, a teacher, she has a pension. She started her 25 years early and got finished with them early, and now she's comfortable and having a retirement. And I don't think, maybe I won't even be able to have one of those. Maybe I can't afford to send my son to college. Maybe he'll have to take loans and be saddled with that debt that people talk about when he gets out. Maybe. I don't know.
That's a lot of, that's pretty heavy
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. And, the news is not positive on that score these days. It's not as if they're saying, oh, things are gonna get better.
Right, right.
They're not, so.
To turn on the news, it's always something else.
Yeah, so.
So here you are, mid-career change. All these worries.
Good timing, huh? Yeah.
But it sounds, so it sounds like though that you've started this path with a lot of thoughts, a lot of research.
Yeah, I didn't just, it wasn't an impulsive thing at all. But,
And you have a friend, she went into it, it's not working out for her so well. But that's not the field you're going into, so that's just one of those annoying distractions.
yeah, I should see it that way. I should try to.
And the end is in sight.
Yeah, it's getting to be. Slowly but surely. Make progress, I guess. So need to look at that.
So you have this background in publishing. Is there any way that when you move into this new field, you can create a unique niche where you take all these things that you love and that excite you and do something pretty cool with it?
Maybe, yeah. I have thought about bringing writing into my work. A lot of people do narrative therapy, and a lot of people, help their clients with journaling as a way of processing things. So that might work.
Those are some very effective therapies,
Yeah,
and it's not something that everybody can do.
yeah, I guess not. And I feel like it would be good for me anyway to try to spend more time on the creative things rather than the mechanical, boring, practical things.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'd like to head in that direction. So art and bibliotherapy, those might be good niches. I'll have to keep that in mind. Sometimes even the positive ideas, though, they just feel like pressure. They just feel like, oh, that's more investigation I have to do. That's more
Work.
research and planning. And sometimes I just want to take a week off and sleep.
Yeah.
Instead.
And then on a day like today, you really want to just sleep.
That would be great, yeah.
So you're sounding very tired.
Yeah.
You were talking about when you were publishing that you experienced burnout. And it sounds as though you're experiencing a little burnout now.
Yeah, I guess so.
So it sounds, keep saying that, so have you thought about self-care? About what you can do now to just really take care of yourself, to carry you through this difficult time? You've got some good stuff going on. You have your glass of wine, you've got your husband to watch movies with,
Yeah,
and,
and my son to exercise with if we get a chance, or if I can make myself just go to the gym, even if it's for a little while every day. Remind myself it's worth it.
and you have a gym around here? Okay.
Yeah. Petting a cat, it's a good thing.
Animals are very therapeutic.
They are. And coming here, it's therapeutic. It's good to just be able to spill it all out and have you say, well, it's not crazy for you to feel frustrated or anxious.
Yeah, you're definitely not crazy. It's definitely normal with everything that's going on.
Wow.
So how are you feeling about things right now?
Right now, I feel better than I did when I came in. So,
Very good.
yeah, you've helped a lot already, so
Excellent.
thank you.
And so with your son, you'll pick him up from school today. Chances are, when you ask him how his day was, what's he gonna say?
Fine. But if he doesn't, I should just not worry about it, right? If he still complains about it, I should just say,
He'll be fine. He'll be fine. All right then.
sorry, you don't feel good, honey, but it won't stay that way forever. I need a mom telling me that too.
Sounds like your mom's pretty busy. You just might have to tell yourself that. Write it down on a Post-it note or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because it sounds like you're going into a very exciting field. You've got a lot of good things going on.
Okay, just try to focus on those then. And take better care of myself. Don't get so wrapped up in it.
And get that plan going, and we'll talk more about this next time.
Sounds great.
All right, have
Thank
a
you.
wonderful rest of the day.
Thanks, you too.